This video is going to pick up on part one. This is part two of creating a fungible token. We're going to extend what we covered in part one by adding a token icon and other mutable data to the token. This is the real power of SLP tokens, is being able to attach an almost unlimited amount of data to a token, and then that data can change over time. This allows a token to, say, track a video game character over time, or a product as it moves through a supply chain. There's many other use cases for this, but adding a token icon is probably the most common use case for this mutable data, since everybody likes to visually identify their token. So it's really important for a lot of people. So I'm back over here in the terminal with psf-slp-wallet, and we are going to use the same command we used in part one, token create fungible. And in part one, we did not fill out this URL or hash field. And this is the extension that allows us to add mutable data to a token. So that's what we're going to use today. But first, we have to do a little bit of prep work in order to attach the data to the token. So I'm going to quickly go over the steps that I'm going to cover in this video. So first, we have to create what's called a mutable data address, or MDA. And that is the address that controls the mutable data. So even though the creator of the token can send the token to someone else and they no longer have it, they can retain the ability to edit the data that token represents. So in the case of artists, this allows them to enforce any sort of agreements, like on royalties and stuff, and to update the owner information. If this is like a fine art, this token represents fine art, but they can also give the private key for that address to another person, allowing other people to edit the mutable data as well. So what makes it really flexible and powerful. So step one, we're going to create this mutable data address. Step two, we'll initialize it. That's a transaction on the blockchain. Step three, we're going to create the token icon and upload it to the IPFS network. Also, we have our own file pinning protocol. So it's called the psf-FPP, or the Permissionless Software Foundation File Pinning Protocol. So we'll host the data on that network. And then we'll edit and upload the mutable data. We'll update the mutable data address to point to the mutable data. And then we'll edit the immutable data, create the token, and then if this doesn't make this video too long, I'll go through these optional steps, which is I'll show you how to change the token icon for the token, or any of the mutable data after you've created the token. So let's talk about a couple definitions first. There's three types of data associated with these SLP tokens. There's Genesis data. This is the data that it's actually written to the blockchain. It's just a small amount of data, but this is what creates the token. And then mutable means that the data can change over time, or can change at all. Immutable means the data cannot change. And so we're going to add both types of data to the token. They're both valuable in their own regard. And if you want to find out more information about the technical specifics of all this, you can go to slptokens.com. And then in this data section, this describes the different types of data, and the links to the specifications for this whole protocol. So if you're technical and you want to get the technical details, that's where it exists. So okay, the mutable data and the immutable data are JSON files. And I have some templates that you can use. You can scan this QR code. I'll also put this link in the show notes. But I've got it here. It's just on GitHub, and we'll use these templates to just make it easier to create our data from scratch, and so we can just use these templates and edit them. So let's go ahead and get into the steps. So we're going to create an MDA wallet and fund it. And so back here on our application, Here's all our commands. I'm going to list the wallets. So I'm going to create a wallet called, I'll just call it MDA1. So I'm creating a new wallet and I need to fund the wallet. So if I use the wallet adders command, I'll get this address. And again, you don't need much. I'm going to send 10 cents, which is more than enough. So I've got this web wallet at wallet.psfoundation.info that I'm going to use to fund things. So I'm going to send 10 cents to that address. Go. Now, if I do the wallet balance command, we'll see the 10 cents in Bitcoin Cash at that address. There we go, right there. Okay, so that's step one. We created the MDA wallet and we funded it. Now we need to initialize the MDA. And that is with a special command called token MDATX. Let's check that out. Dash dash up. So all this does is it creates a transaction. So we called that MDA1, the address. Oh, and we need to get the address that we just funded. We're going to use that address. Oh, dash A. I didn't use the dash A. And I'm going to open a text editor because we want to take some notes as we go, because some of this data is going to, uh, we're going to need to refer back to it as we do this prep work. Okay, so our mutable data address was right here. Let's record that. We just initialized it with this transaction ID, and we're going to need that later as well. Okay, so we initialized the MDA. So token icons, I created two token icons using AI art. So we'll use the first one as a token icon, and then in steps 8, 9, 10, we'll replace that token icon with the second token icon. So we need to upload that to the network so that it's available on the internet. And so if you go to explorer.psf-fpp.com, it's like a block explorer. It lets you explore the files that are hosted on the network. And you can also go to this upload page where you can upload files to the network and pay for the hosting with Bitcoin Cash. So I'm going to grab token icon 1 and it's calculating the upload price. It's about a penny per megabyte, so it's going to cost about a penny because it's under a megabyte. Okay, so once it's uploaded, you'll get the cost of in Bitcoin Cash to upload it. I think it's about two cents. And then you click on the button to actually upload it. This will give you the IPFS CID, which is a content ID. This is how files are referenced on the IPFS network. So let's see, I want to record that, and then we'll pin it, which will do the actual paying and burning, and there's a whole protocol under the hood that's outside the scope of this video. But just wait a minute for this to get posted, and then we'll go back over to the Explorer page, and we'll be able to see that it's been accepted by the network. All right, so we can see that it was successful in pinning the file. So if we go back over here to the Explorer page, we should hopefully see a new entry. This can take a couple minutes. Okay, that went through pretty fast. But if this is like a yellow icon, um, just give it a couple minutes and it'll come through. But we can click on this view button and now get a URL for one of the nodes that's hosting the token icon. So there's our token icon. I want to copy this URL and put that in our notes. We're going to need that later. And let's go back to, so we created the token icon, we uploaded it. That was step 3. So now we're going to edit and upload the mutable data. So again, we've got the template here in this gist, which is available at this link if you scan that QR code. And I've already got it over here in this tab. So I'm going to edit some information, particularly that token icon URL that we just copied. That's going to go right here in the token icon property. And then since this is a simple image based, I'm also going to put that in the full-sized URL area. If you were using a icon to represent like a big image, like a full-size image, the full-size image URL would go in the full-size URL, and then the smaller token icon would get in the token icon area. And that means when you're looking at this token in a wallet, it can download the thumbnail rather than the full-size image. That's the difference between these two properties. But in this case, I'm going to use both properties for the same image. Everything else is optional. I'm going to, let's see, it's safe for work. You can put a description here. This is an image type. There are other media types that you can put in here, like videos and stuff like that, music. I'll go ahead and just leave all this. I guess I might as well update the date of 6/20/25. And yeah, that's good. I'm going to go ahead and save this file. And so we're going to go back to here and upload that mutable data. We need to do the same thing we did with the token icon. Let's see, it's immutable. There it is right there. Grab that file and I'll upload it. And then I'll pin it. Okay, we're going to need this. And mutable data. Sorry, psf-slp-wallet. And now I'll pin the file. And then we'll be able to get the URL. Okay, the pin was successful. Let's go back over to the Explorer page. And there's our mutable.json file. Let's click on the view to get the URL for it. And there's our JSON rendered in the browser. So again, we're going to want this URL. We'll need that later, maybe. Okay, so we edited and uploaded it. Now we need to point the mutable data address at that mutable data file. And we do that with another command called token update. This is what you use to update the mutable data for a token. So let's check that help file out. So you give it the name of your wallet that's going to pay for it. I'm going to use that MDA address that I funded wallet. And then the CID. Let's see. So we're going to go token update. I'm going to use the MDA1 wallet to pay for the transaction. And then the CID, you need to prefix it with IPFS : / That lets it know that the file's on IPFS, not on the web. And so grab that. CID from our mutable data. So this will create another transaction on the blockchain. So the immutable data address acts like a pointer if you're a programmer. And so by making these token update transactions, we can point that address at new mutable data. And that's how we change the mutable data. So this is just our first one. This is our initial transaction. I'm going to copy that. We'll need that as well. First mutable data update. Okay, so that's the bulk of the work. The mutable data address has been updated and the mutable data has been uploaded and the address is pointing to it. And so now we when we create the token, we have the information we need to attach the mutable data to the token. But before we do that, let's go ahead and upload the mutable data. This is kind of optional. I do it every time just because it's good to have like a record of what I was thinking when I created the token. So again, there is the template here. And so we've got this immutable template, and I've got that loaded in my text editor already. So I'm going to update this information. I'm going to do the timestamp. And if you have one thing I forgot to mention, if you have your own custom data, this could any kind of arbitrary data. This could be computer code, this could be, whatever you want. Put it in this user data field. And both the immutable and the mutable data have this user data field. There's also this JSON LD field, which stands for JSON linked data. If you know about linked data, this is another good place to put it. But that's where you can store your arbitrary data. The rest of this is like a schema, and it kind of needs to stay in the same form if you want other applications like the web wallet to be able to automatically read your data, like the token icon. Okay, so you can put an issuer URL, you can put in a description of the token. This information is not currently used by anything, but this is why I like to do the immutable data if I'm trying to debug something and figure out why my token's not working. Putting this initial mutable data information here is good. So our mutable data address, we did it first. I'm going to put that here. And again, this is immutable data, so once it's uploaded, it cannot be changed. And that initialization transaction, and then that first transaction ID. It's right here. I like to record all this information in the mutable data before I upload it. Okay, so that's all the updates I need to do there. Let's go ahead and go back to the pinning protocol and upload the immutable data. Upload it, and then I'll pay to pin it. All right, our mutable data has been successfully uploaded. I'm going to take a note of the CID, and we can get that URL if we want, but we're not going to need it. Okay, so we edited the mutable data and we uploaded that. So now everything's done, and we can use that same command we used at the end of part 1 to create a new token. But now we have the information we need to attach all this data to the token. So with the wallets, I have the mutable data address, and I'm going to leave that alone. That's just for controlling the mutable data. What I'm going to do is create the token in this tokens one wallet. That'll actually hold the token, and that's a separate wallet from the wallet that controls the data. So let's just check the balance of that wallet right now. And this is best practice. I recommend that you create a wallet to control the data for each token. Don't use the same wallet to control data for multiple tokens. And it's good to separate the token and the data. Okay, so it's just got a couple tokens in there. We're going to create a new one, and we're going to use this token create fungible command like we used in part 1. So we're going to use the tokens one wallet to pay for the transaction, and that's where the tokens are going to end up after they've been created. Let's name this, I'll just name it mtest1 for mutable data, and I'll give the ticker the same one. I'm just going to use 0 decimal, so this will make whole tokens that can't be subdivided. And I'll make 1,000 of them, whatever you want. Okay, so in the URL, this is where the immutable data goes. And we need to prefix that with the IPFS, and then I can grab the CID for the immutable data we just uploaded. That goes there. And then the hash, that's what connects the token to the mutable data. So there, I'm going to use this initialization transaction. So that's what goes into the genesis data of the token, and then the protocol is able to follow that breadcrumb trail from that transaction to whatever the latest mutable data is. So it's creating the token right now. There we go. So our token is created. And now if I look at the balance for that tokens one wallet, we should see 1,000 of these new tokens. Awesome. And then this link pops up when you create the token to look at it's a token explorer. So let's see, it might take it a minute to get everything together. This is a decentralized network. Yeah, okay. So this is still trying to find the data, but we can see that the information is here in the Genesis data. So we'll come back and check this. But right now, I want to send some of these tokens to my web wallet at wallet.psfoundation.info. So I'll get my simple ledger address here, and we're going to use the send tokens command. So it's in the tokens one wallet, and that's the address I just got from my web wallet. And I'll send 10 tokens. And then the token ID, which is what uniquely identifies each token, I'm going to copy that from here and paste it there. And so when these tokens come into my web wallet, hopefully we should see the token icon. Again, this can take a few minutes for everything to settle down because the decentralized network, there's no centralized command and control. It takes time for everything to, just a few minutes, 5 minutes or so. Okay, so there is the transaction. Let's go over to the wallet and refresh. We should see another token pop up with a quantity of 10, and then hopefully the token icon will appear. All right, there's our new token with the 10. It's trying to get the token information. Here it comes. There we go. So yeah, okay, there's our token, and we've got this nice token icon. We can now send this over to our DEX wallet if we wanted to sell it. And so with that being done, let's move on to these optional steps. If you wanted to say update the mutable data in some way, it doesn't have to be the token icon, but it's a good visual example. So we'll do that in this example. So I've got this uh, second token icon that I generated. Um, uh, and so let's remove this, and I'll grab the second token icon that I created. So it's like an orb with this shape in it. So we're going to replace the original token icon with this new token icon. So the steps are the same. You want to upload it, take note of the CID. Okay, so our new token icon was successfully uploaded. Let's get the URL for that. Right there, token icon 2. There's our new token icon. So let's record that URL. We're going to need that. So now we can go back to our mutable data up template and we can update the token icon URL. Just updated both of those. We can save it. And now we'll upload the new mutable data file that we just saved. We're going to need that CID. Let's go ahead and kick off the pinning. So what we're doing is we're replacing the old mutable data file with the new mutable data file. But what's nice about this protocol is that we're just updating a pointer on the address. We can't actually change the data on the blockchain. So all the old updates still exist and they're still recorded on the blockchain. So this creates an immutable record of updates. So anyone can see like when the token data was updated and what the token data was in the past and what it is now in the future. So it's a very transparent, immutable, auditable chain of custody. Also, the only person who can update the mutable data is the person who has the private key for this mutable data address. If someone tries to issue the same transaction, but it doesn't originate from that address, it'll be rejected. So that's just an interesting thing to note. Okay, so our PIN was successful. We don't actually need the URL, but what we're going to do is use that token update command again. So let's see, what was the name of that address? The MDA1, that was the wallet. We have to use that wallet. That's the one that has the private key that controls the mutable data. And then we'll give our new CID, and don't forget the IPFS prefix, and then we'll paste in that new CID. So this will generate a new transaction on the blockchain, and it's essentially doing is updating the pointer to the new mutable data. So when the wallet goes to get the mutable data for the token, it'll see that, oh, there's been an update and I should use the newest one. So there is one caveat about updating the mutable data in that you can only update it once per block. It's the block height that's used to determine like what mutable data came before or after another one. So when you issue this update command, you'll get a link to a block explorer. And I just went there and we can see it's been mined in this block. So that's been updated. So if you make a mistake and you need to update it right away and it doesn't seem like your token icon's changing, go to the block explorer and make sure you're only issuing that command once per block. So I did, and it did. And now, so when we go back to the web wallet, we haven't changed anything, but there we can see the token icon change. So our old one went away and our new one was replaced by our new one. And so you can use this process to update any of the mutable data. And like I said, that user data area in the mutable data is, you can put anything you want, any kind of arbitrary data in there. It could have, this would allows it to interact with other web apps and have a really rich data. One other thing I'll say before I end this is obviously these steps were pretty complicated. This is why I recommend people create tokens at tokentiger.com. It hides all this complexity under a really nice, simple user interface. As of this recording, they don't support fungible tokens, but they are working on it. So that will come out soon. So if this seems complex, uh, too technical for you, check out tokentiger.com.